Her silence wasn't empty, it screamed rejection. A year passed, and still I wasn't accepted as a wife. His family's silence was louder than hate, and I was left waiting, forgotten, unwanted. But in the middle of that pain, he, Abbas, began to listen. And that changed everything. Silence can be louder than words, and hers echoed with rejection. As days turned into weeks, and weeks into months, my rukhsati remained in limbo. Abbas's family chose silence, perhaps hoping the situation would resolve itself, or that we would simply fade from their lives. It felt as though we were unwanted, an afterthought, unworthy of acceptance. A year slipped by, each day heavy with uncertainty. Yet amidst this waiting, something unexpected happened. Abbas became my only solace. We began to talk, hesitantly at first, like strangers navigating uncharted waters. But with each conversation, I discovered a softness in him. He listened, truly listened. He never dismissed my feelings or tried to force his perspective. In a world where my voice was often silenced, Abbas heard me. His patience, his quiet understanding began to chip away at the walls I'd built around my heart. Unintentionally, I found myself waiting for his calls, seeking his words to soothe my restless thoughts. Against all odds, I was beginning to like him. How strange it was to feel a glimmer of hope in the middle of a storm. Yet, I couldn't help but wonder, was this the beginning of love, or merely a refuge from my loneliness? A year drifted by, each day stretching endlessly, wrapped in silence and uncertainty. Both families stood stubbornly still, their silence echoing louder than words ever could. I was caught in the middle, neither moving forward nor escaping the past that haunted me. It felt like being trapped in a cage with invisible bars. Every breath a reminder of my helplessness. Amidst this standstill, the only place I found to hide was in Abbas. Not because I loved him, I didn't even know what love felt like anymore, but because he was the only one who listened, the only one who didn't demand anything from me. He became my sanctuary, my escape from the storm inside me. With him, I didn't have to pretend to be strong. I could just exist, silently battling my own chaos. Yet, no matter how hard I tried to bury it, the past wouldn't let me go. Armand's shadow followed me everywhere. I could still see his eyes, those eyes that once held a love so deep it felt like drowning. I felt his presence in every corner, heard his voice in the wind, saw his smile when I closed my eyes. He was gone, but he was everywhere, haunting me, hurting me. I tried to hate him, to erase his memory, but it was impossible. How could I forget the way he understood me without words? Even now, his love pulled me like a magnet, drawing me towards a past that no longer existed. And in my weakness, I let it consume me. Meanwhile, Abbas was fighting his own silent battles. I could see the pain in his eyes, the frustration of a man who wanted his wife but was kept apart by invisible walls. One evening his patience shattered. "Mom, can we please talk?" His voice was pleading, raw with emotion. His mother barely looked at him, a voice cold and detached. "I'm listening." "I can't live like this anymore. She is my wife, she belongs here with me. How will you keep us apart? Can't you see what this is doing to me?" His voice cracked, his helplessness laid bare. She looked away, her face unreadable. "You don't understand, Abbas. These things take time. We'll see, we'll fix a date soon." But her words were hollow, as empty as the promises that had kept us apart for a year. Hope was cruel. Just when I thought I was ready to let go of Aman's memory, Abbas's patience pulled me back. Maybe that's why, for the first time, I found myself wanting to spend time with him. Not because I loved him, but because I needed to feel something other than pain. I was tired of feeling lost, tired of being trapped in a love that no longer existed. I wanted to breathe again, to break free from the memories that chain me to the past, and maybe, just maybe, Abbas could help me forget. But could I truly let go? Could I give my heart to the man who was willing to stand by me? Or would I always be haunted by the ghost of a love that never got its ending? My sister's face was pale, her eyes pleading as she walked into my room. Her voice trembled. Waqas and I fought. Again. He says it's because of Abbas. Why does Abbas keep arguing with his mother? Don't you see, Madiha? His mother thinks you're the reason behind all this. If you don't fix this, if you don't stop him, my relationship will fall apart. Her words stabbed me like knives. My heart sank. Rabia, I didn't do anything, I whispered, my voice barely holding steady. Abbas wants me in his life. That's his choice, not mine. Why would Waqas blame you? This has nothing to do with you two. But she shook her head, eyes filled with desperation. You don't get it. You need to talk to Abbas, make him stop, make him understand. If you don't, everything will be ruined. My body went cold. It felt like the walls were closing in on me. They were trying to control him through me. They were chaining me to a situation I never chose. I looked at my sister. My blood, my confidant. She wasn't my ally anymore. She was part of the force pulling me into the darkness. No, not this time. I clenched my fists, my nails digging into my skin. I wouldn't be their pawn. I wouldn't be the one to calm Abbas just to save her dreams. My voice was firm, even though my heart was shattering. I won't do it, Rabia. I can't. Her face twisted in anger, pain flickering in her eyes. You're selfish, Madiha. You're ruining everything. Abbas is stressing his mother and Waqas. He's furious with me, all because of you. Her words were venomous, poisoning every happy memory we had shared. I wanted to scream, to defend myself, to shake her and make her see that I was hurting too. But the words choked in my throat, suffocating me. I stood there, frozen as she walked away, leaving me shattered. For the first time I stood my ground, but it felt like losing everything. 3 days had passed, and Rabia was still upset with me. Her anger was palpable, a heavy cloud hanging over us. I knew why. Waqas was furious with her, and she blamed me, not because of anything I did, but because they could no longer control me, no longer pull my strings like a puppet. I could feel their frustration seeping through every word, every glare. Waqas's voice echoed in my mind, cold and cutting. If Abbas keeps acting like this, we won't go through with it. How easy it was for him to say those words, to threaten a love that wasn't even his. Why do people always assume that a man must bend to his wife's will? Why can't they see that a man is his own person, free to speak, to move, to live as he chooses? Why is it so hard to believe that Abbas's choices are his own, that I have no power over him? I am not the kind of woman who controls or manipulates. I don't have the strength or the desire to rule anyone's heart or mind. All I wanted was clarity. A simple answer. What do they decide for me? I was tired of walking on broken glass, waiting for someone else to dictate my future, but they didn't understand. They couldn't. Their pride and egos were too large, too blinding. How could their stubbornness matter more than our lives? Why couldn't his mother see her son's pain, the way he longed for me, his wife, the woman he had chosen? Why were they so selfish, so set on proving their power that they couldn't see the damage they were causing?
Does authority really give someone the right to shatter hearts, to impose their decisions on those who have no voice? Why do people forget that power is meant to protect, not to break the spirit of those who are already fragile, those who have no choice but to accept their fate in silence? No, not anymore. I felt a fire ignite within me, burning away my fear. Today I refuse to bear this burden any longer. I would break my silence, shatter the chains that held me down. God made this decision for me, and I would honour it. I would stand by my husband, the man I was bound to in Nikah. I wouldn't let their pride erase my future. I was done being their puppet. Today I chose my own destiny." A few weeks later, tension hung heavy in the air. My mother's face was hardened, her voice cold and unyielding as she declared, "Today I'm going to Abbas's house. I'll speak to his mother and I'll end this once and for all. No more waiting, no more complications." Her words were like knives, cutting through the fragile hope that had barely begun to grow. My sister's face turned pale, fear and worry clouding her eyes. She knew, just as I did, that this confrontation could shatter everything. Meanwhile, Abbas was far away from this storm, seeking answers in a place of peace. He walked into the mosque, his shoulders heavy with the weight of uncertainty. His steps were slow, his heart pounding as he approached the religious scholar, who sat quietly, his eyes serene with wisdom. Abbas sat down, his voice trembling as he began. "I am here because I am trapped in a dilemma. I need guidance that aligns with my faith. I need to know what Allah commands in a situation like this. What should I do when my mother, who was once happy about my marriage, is now against it? She wants me to divorce my wife, but we are innocent. We did nothing wrong. What does my faith say about this?" The scholar listened, his expression calm and thoughtful. When Abbas finished, the man spoke with a steady voice, each word heavy with meaning. "It is true that obeying one's parents is among the highest duties in Islam. But remember, above all, your first obedience is to Allah and His Messenger. There is no command greater than His. If you and your wife are blameless in this matter, then you must honour the bond that Allah has created between you. It is not right to break a marriage for reasons that go against Islamic teachings." The words hung in the air, echoing through Abbas's heart. The weight began to lift, clarity replacing confusion. He understood now. His duty to his mother was sacred, but it did not outweigh his responsibility to Allah and the sanctity of his marriage. A decision was made in that quiet corner of the mosque, a promise to stand by the woman he had vowed to protect, no matter the storms that awaited them. As Abbas left the mosque, the sunlight touched his face, warm and resolute. A newfound strength filled his heart. He had sought answers, and he had found his path, not one carved by fear or pressure, but one guided by faith and truth. He knew the journey ahead would not be easy. The conflicts, the judgments, the pain, they would still be there, waiting to test him. But now, he had a purpose stronger than his fears. With every step, he felt closer to his destiny, closer to fulfilling the promise he made under God's watchful eyes. He was ready to fight, not against his family, but for the love and duty that his faith had commanded him to honour. Sometimes the most difficult battles are fought within the heart, but those who stand firm in their faith can face any storm. Abbas was ready. The story was far from over. It was just beginning.